Alright guys, here's brutally honest truth of becoming a profitable day trader. This is something I would tell myself and that I look back upon from my journey, which I started when I was 18, so about 5 years ago. This is some stuff that I wish I knew, and the three main things that you need to become a profitable day trader. So there's three components to become a profitable day trader. So even if one of these components are missing, the chemical reaction of profitability will not work. Like I'm telling you guys, you need these three things to make day trading work, to become profitable. All right, so in this video, I'm gonna go through the three core things, and the last one's the most important one, so stay tuned for that. The last one's gonna tie everything all in and make everything work. So without further ado, let's get right into it. Okay, so number one, strategy. Why are we doing that? So strategy, that's obvious. You need an edge in the market, right? But even as simple as it sounds, people screw it up all the time. People are always constantly searching for a higher win rate strategy, or they keep back testing different confluences, adding more shit to their trading, more entry triggers. A new ICT video comes out and they want to add it to their trading. But the reality is you're setting yourself up for failure. So there's not the thing is, yes, you can try to find something with a higher win rate, or like keep adding stuff to get a higher win rate, but you're just falling into a competitive circle, like a repetitive circle, right? You keep adding stuff and then you fail to trade because you can't fully identify it, right? So let's make that clear. There's not a single strategy in this world that's going to give you a 100% win rate, right? So stop searching for it. It's not going to happen. You just need a strategy that's going to be consistent and works. You don't need 50 different entry triggers to make trading work. There's people that use Bollinger Bands. I don't even know how to pronounce it, but they use those VWAP bands and stuff, and they're profitable traders because that's all they literally stick to, just their simple strategy that they feel confident in working, right? So, and like I just said, Bollinger Bands work. So here, that's the truth. Every strategy works, even the ones that you think are stupid. The market's so big that it produces thousands, if not millions, of iterations of opportunities for you to take. But our job is to analyze and capture a piece of that pie. We don't need to capture like the whole monthly, the whole monthly candle, right? We're not trying to do that. We're trying to be consistent, and we're trying to just be consistent, right? We're just trying to find, all you need is a strategy that you can easily spot on the market. If you can't easily spot and you're not confident in that strategy, it's not going to work, right? You need to find something that tailors to your eyesight. Like when you're looking at the charts, okay, what am I looking for? What can I spot easily every time? That's the strategy you want, and you need to master that through back testing, because back testing will allow you to find the strategy every single time over hours and hours and hours of replay. You can't just back test for 15 minutes and be like, okay, my strategy works. No, you have to back test for hours and hours and hours. Okay. But now that you found a strategy that works, assuming that most of you guys already have a strategy, because this is like the most easiest one to conquer in the market, it's not the strategy. The next one's probably a problem that most of you guys have as well, but it's not the strategy. Most of you guys probably already have a strategy, but you guys are still finding yourself to be unprofitable, and I'm going to dive into why. Okay, risk management. This is probably the easiest part about trading. You don't even need to have a strategy to have proper risk management. But most people fuck it up anyways. Most people, this is self-sabotage. If you don't have risk management, you are self-sabotaging yourself, okay? And I'm just gonna, at the end of the risk management portion of this video, I'm gonna show you something that will open your eyes on how compounding interest works, okay? So what is risk management? It's just a numbers game. Most traders fail to realize or neglect the power of managing your capital, right? Putting random stop losses and then losing quarter to half of your account because your analysis told you you'll make 4x on that trade, that's not the way to go, right? Like, you guys get a funded account, you guys get funded, or you guys use your live capital, and then you have a $2,000 balance, and then you're like, okay, I'm gonna risk $1,000 on this trade because I'm gonna make $8,000. No, If that trade fails because your analysis was somehow incorrect or it was incorrect, right? You now lost 50% of your account. And now what? Now you're screwed because now you have to now you're gonna risk another 1,000 because you want to make the other 1,000 back, and you're just gonna keep going down the cycle, right? So what's the name of the game? Risk to reward, right? RR. That's the only that's one of the main trading terms in risk to reward, right? You should have a risk to reward plan every day coming into the market. The reason you keep that's the only reason you keep blowing your accounts on your funded accounts is because you guys can't manage your risk properly. It's not the only reason, but it's one of the main reasons. There's no secret to it. But let me just show you my strategy. Based on a proven win rate. This is not my personal win rate, but this is like just a scenario because most people will probably have this win rate of 40%, right? By the way, not a financial advisor. I'm just a guy on the internet with a trading passion. But okay, here's a scenario. We have a $5,000 live account. Our win rate's 40%. I'm going to show you the power of compounding interest. If you just watch the next couple minutes of this video, and it's going to open your eyes on the damage you can do with a $5,000 live account over a period of 90 days, okay? So my win rate's 40%. I have a $5,000 account, right? Typically, with a decent win rate, my risk manager strategy is aggressive, but for beginner's sake, I'm going to be more conservative on this, and we're only going to risk 2% of the account balance per trade, okay? But here's the key to this. The 2% is trailing the balance, so not the initial balance. Let's say we make $500 on trade. Now I'm risking 2% of $5,500, not $5,000. So you trail the 2%, and if you go down below $5,000, you're trailing that 2%, right? The goal is to aim for 3RR. Obviously, that's not going to happen every day in the market, but it's possible, right? Especially starting off with a $5,000 account, 3RR is really possible. One trade per day. That is your goal. That is your strat. That is a rule. You only trade once per day. You win, cool, hop off. You lose, cool, hop off. If another setup appears after you took in a win or a loss, no, you're hopping off. That's it. Okay. Wow, I messed that up. If you stick to this risk strategy, even on a lower win rate, the probable outcome you would get in 90 days, just following it, one trade per day. Okay, let's go through it. This is 90 days of trading. Like we're taking a couple L's here, but the balance is steadily increasing by day 10. So look, we were unprofitable for 10 days. And then what happens? Day 11, we get a win. Just getting a 3RR, a win. Then, wins compile, and then our losses stop eating our accounts up. And then you're suddenly in profit after just following your risk strategy. And look, at the end of it, you would have had, by the end of 90 days, $22,000, right? $22,000. Just by following a simple risk strategy, 40% win rate, which I believe most of you have probably a way higher number proven on backtesting. If you're following if you honestly know how to trade way better, you should have a better than 40%, maybe 60. But yeah, like $21,000. Like if this was a 60% win rate, that number would probably be in the 30s or 40s, right? So you can do a lot of damage with the $5,000 account if you stick to your plan. Trading is longevity. Most people stay in like the week term, one day. Like I need to make this much in one day. No, you have to think about on a long term. On a long term, this is what trading is about on the long term. Because if you have a $22,000 account balance, you can now start start paying yourself, because every trade is paying you $1,000. Like you're doing well for yourself at $1,000 almost like a day. Like by the end of the week, you're probably making like $2,000 or $3,000 based on a 40% win rate. That's good money, right? So don't underestimate the compounding interest aspect of trading. It's very useful, right? Don't underestimate your risk strategy. Find a risk strategy that works with you. I recommend 2% of your account balance and just let it compound, right? Trailing 2%. Just trail your 2%. That allows you for 50. You would have to lose 50 trades in a row to blow your account, which if you have a 40% win rate, how likely is that to happen? Even if you have a 30% win rate, how likely is that to happen? because 1 out of 3 trades you're gonna win. So, or 1 out of 4 if you closer to 25. I don't know, whatever you guys want to think about it. But yeah, you're not. It's just statistically, it's almost near. It's not impossible, but it's pretty near impossible if you're following your strategy, following your rules, 1 trade per day to blow your account in 50 straight trades, right? Okay, this is the most important part of the video, and I highly recommend I get all of your attention here, okay? I'm assuming most of you guys have experience in the market. That's why you're watching this video, because you want to become profitable, and you notice that your trade over the course of your years or months of trading that you are not profitable. Profitability takes a long time in the market, okay? So psychology is the hardest part of trading. Like, I am so serious. It's so hard. The hardest thing for me was psychology, and I believe for most traders that is the case, right? Psychology. Now, it's not the strategy, it's not the risk management, but the ability to focus and discipline and control your own self. That is the hardest part of trading. It's controlling what's up here. Okay? So like when you're in a trading session, you're gonna have these constant conversations in your head like, oh shit, I fucked up my last setup. I just need to take the trade. I missed the last setup. Or you missed a trade, like you missed a good trade, you faded the setup, and you're like, okay, shit, I should take the next trade. Like, and it's not an A grade setup, it's not a good setup, and you're getting FOMO now because of your emotions, right? Or you'll tell yourself, who cares, you lost the trade and you just want to make your money back. That is the worst thing you could probably do, is try to make your money back the day you lose your trade. That is the worst thing you could possibly do, because it almost never works out. You'll probably get lucky and it'll work out one day, but trust me, I've been through that so many fucking times. It's not going to work out. Like, in the long run, it's not going to work out for you. And, just something that I've learned in the market, all the money you've made not following your strategy, you will lose in the market. You will lose it back to the market, no matter what. The market will reclaim that money back somehow. It's just crazy how it works, Okay, so the voice in your head keeps compiling thoughts and emotions, causing you to lose more and make decisions you should be avoiding. But at the end of it, you realize you should have followed your strategy and rules. Like, you always come back to the realization like, hey, man, fuck, I should have followed my strategy. Like, I fucked up today. Like, I lost almost 3K on my account. Like, dude, I hate trading. I'm quit. And you come back tomorrow and you do the same shit. But look, trading is a no-rule game. You make the rules. This is your rules. Your rules. You're not sticking to your rules. If you can't follow your own rules, why are you even trading? Why? Nobody tells you what to do. Nobody gives you a limit. It's you versus you, right? And this was the hardest part for me to realize. Like, fuck, I'm making all the rules. This is my business. I'm making all the fucking rules here. Like, I should be able to tell myself, okay, I can't break this rule. Like, there's a barrier. I can't go through it because I broke, or else I'm going to break this rule. And then I failed. Like, you can't do that, So emotional control will be the hardest and lengthiest part of your trading journey. The faster you realize your own thoughts are burning you in your trading, the faster you'll become successful, right? It's about self-reflection. You need to reflect every day on your trading, even if you had to win. What was it in your rules? Did you follow your strategy? Was your risk management, correct, right? So the thing about trading is, and your emotions, that it causes you to over leverage, which causes you to make FOMO decisions, which causes you to put on emotional trades, and then boom, account blown, you lost more than you can fucking afford. And then you just go down this mental rabbit hole of negativity the rest of the day, and people can see that shit on your fucking face. That you're going through the world like, oh shit, I just blow my account. You're all moping, sad, putting all this negative energy out into the world. People can feel that shit, But it's just the thing about taking a loss. It's a psychological human reaction. It's always a negative sum reaction. When you lose a game or you lose something, like, you always feel like shit, right? But it's about learning how to recognize those emotions and change them, okay? So yes, I'm telling you from experience, it burns your confidence. It creates doubt, and it changes the other two components I listed above, right? It changes the way you risk manage, and it changes the way you trade your strategy, right? So your emotions, they control your risk management, and they control your strategy, because without strong discipline and strong like emotional intelligence and emotional control, you will change your strategy and you will change your risk management strategy, because you took a loss, or you feel a little bit emotional, like you haven't taken a trade in a day or two. So that's the part about it that sucks. But like, I'm telling you all this, and you're gonna go down. You're still probably gonna be like, okay, Mo, like, yeah, you told me it's my emotions, and then you try it for a day, you fix it, and then the next day you go back into it. Like, okay, blah blah blah. You get the memo, right? But how do you get rid of your emotions in trading? So I'm gonna tell you guys the truth. You guys can't. We're made as emotional creatures, and that's an instinct we are given to survive as, the dawn of time. We can't get rid of our emotions. We need them for survival. But there's ways that you can ensure you never allow your emotions to have control of your trading again. Okay? Discipline and self-reflection. I've mentioned self-reflection. I mentioned discipline above. Discipline will stop your overtrading and leveraging. You must force your own mind to stop. Self-reflection after a trading session will allow you to thank your discipline for not being impulsive and potentially losing more. Okay? Self-reflection is probably just as important as discipline, right? But, I could say this and you could put a mental barrier in your mind to not do it, but someday you're going to end up breaking it. So you have to set up mechanical ways to do this. So like, how do you do it? Well, in terms of discipline, many brokerages allow you to input daily loss limits and completely shut down your account, okay? If you hit that risk, so like, you have to calculate your risk every day before your trading session of how much you can lose on the account. And you could go into your brokerage and put in that amount of daily loss. And on the bottom of Tradeovate, you can lock your account so you can't go back and change it when you took in that loss to like a higher number. It'll just lock your account. You can't trade for the rest of the session. That is the best mechanical way you can do it, okay? That is the fastest way to kickstart your discipline, and over time you'll just learn to like accept it, okay? Like, I can't do it anymore, I can't trade. Fuck, one setup and done, okay? So, and like, before you get into your day, before you start getting on the charts, remind yourself of what you're doing. Remind yourself, I'm looking for my setup. If it doesn't appear, I don't trade. I'm only risking X amount per day. I'm only risking X amount today, or 2% of the account, right? You have to tell yourself these things. You have to look at the chart. Before you look at the chart, even before you look at the chart, you have to tell yourself, I'm gonna only look for my strategy. If it doesn't appear today, I don't trade. Last week, I only took one trade the whole fucking week because PA was so shit. I couldn't find a trade. I didn't get mad. I spent 3 hours a day on almost every day on the charts. I didn't make $1 other than Tuesday. But I wasn't mad. Like, I followed my strategy. I'm content with following my strategy. I'm regimented, So another part of it that causes emotions is you're not accepting your risk. If you can't afford to lose it, you shouldn't be trading. If you can't afford to take a loss, then you should not be trading, because losses happen. Losses are normal in the market. Every trader loses. The best traders on social media all take losses at least once a month. Like, it happens. It happens. Trading is not meant to be 100% efficient. Like, even if outside of trading, basketball players the best basketball players lose games. Soccer, like in soccer, like, not Ronaldo doesn't always win the fucking World Cup, right? It's just part of the game. It's part of learning. You're not always going to win the game, but you're always going to win yourself. You have to realize you are making. That's where self-reflection comes in. You're making progression to get to that big win. The long game. So the psychological journey is unique to everybody. So me personally, guys, it took me almost a whole year to recognize the damage I caused myself because of my psychology, okay? I was blowing funded accounts left and fucking right. I kid you not, I probably have more funded accounts than, more funded failed. So I have a lot of evals, but I passed a lot of evals, but I probably have a lot of evals, more than most of you guys, that I've fucking blown before taking a payout, okay? You know, like, that was, it wasn't my strategy. It was my psychology. It was my risk management too, because my psychology would not allow me to follow my risk management. Like, I was always thinking about bigger numbers, bigger numbers, bigger numbers. Like chasing. I was always chasing instead of attracting. Okay? So, you know, I always blamed my strategy, and I would always try to look for a new strategy. My strategy was never bad. Like, it has a good win rate. It's like 70, right? That's a good win rate to me. You know, I always blamed it for, you know, wiping me out of my trade and, you know, taking my stop loss. I always got pissed, you know, and I thought to myself, and I was like, you know, after this whole year of going through it, I looked through all the accounts I've blown, like on my Top Steps, on my Funded Futures, my Take Profit Trader, and I'm like, wow, I've had a lot of funded accounts that I've blown. What was the issue? And I just look back, and I'm just like, every time I was in that phase, I was just like, money, 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 money. I need to get a payout. I need to get a payout. I need to take the biggest trade. I need to put on this trade. It doesn't matter. I need to take every single trade I see. And like, it was just myself holding me back, right? It was just me. So what I'm trying to tell you guys is, you guys have control over the last portion. This is not something I can physically teach you mechanically, or like, there's nothing I can tell you. You have to look yourself in the mirror and realize that you are the only person holding yourself back from your own trading. Most of you guys probably have a good strategy and probably know that you need risk management, but your emotions and your ego is not allowing you to tie it in. Once you let that go, guys, I promise you it's to the fucking moon. I promise you losses will not affect you as they used to emotionally. You know, you're going to have these days where sometimes it'll hurt more than others, but you have to, like, this is a good analogy I learned the other day. You know, you have an inner voice that's negative, right? You always have this voice that's overthinking and like telling you different shit. And then you have the bigger voice, which is capturing that guy, that negative overthinker, and telling it like, hey, we're all good. God got us, you know? We're good. Like, we'll make it out of it. You have to separate those two people, those two voices in your head, and listen to the bigger person and accept it. Accept it, that the overthinking will be wrong in the long run, and that if you listen to your strategy, you listen to your rules, that you will be successful. It's one day doesn't determine your whole trading career. One day does not determine your whole trading career. I've learned that. I've always, for trading, for me personally, I always thought in terms of weeks, months. It's not weeks or months. It's quarters. It's years. Like, I'm trying to be profitable over a long period of time, not just this week, because I could be profitable for 1 week out the month, and then the next 3 weeks, I'm not taking any payouts. I'm blowing accounts. Like, I only trade live now because funded accounts personally just fuck my mental up because all the rules and shit that they already have. I like setting my own rules and following them, right? But yeah, hopefully you guys get something from this video, and if you want me to elaborate more or you guys want to reach out to me, I do have a free Discord where you guys can join, and I'll answer questions from there. I don't sell anything. I don't have a course, so don't hesitate to join. I'm not trying to pressure you into any sales or anything. There's nothing I sell. The Discord is just a community where I can reach out, where people can reach out to me and I can answer questions, okay? But I appreciate you guys if you guys watched this long. It really means a lot to me. If you found value in this video, please drop a like. If you have any questions or comments, please drop them down below. Or if you have any feedback for me, I am new to YouTube, so I want to grow, and I want to grow this channel to the best I can possibly, grow while helping people out. Okay? You guys have a great day.